Imagine turning on the TV, expecting the usual dose of laughs, tears, and transformation from the Slaton sisters, only to discover a betrayal so shocking that it threatens to destroy everything we thought we knew about their bond. This isn't just another family argument. This isn't a petty disagreement or a simple misunderstanding. This is the kind of revelation that makes you question whether sisterhood itself can survive fame, money, and the weight of secrets. When Amy Slaton is accused of secretly transferring property that Tammy believed was hers, fans didn't just gasp, they exploded with outrage. Because in this world of reality TV, where every smile can hide a wound, every hug can conceal a secret, and every promise can mask a betrayal, this story feels more raw, more heartbreaking, and more unforgettable than anything scripted for television. You might think you've seen family drama before, but nothing, absolutely nothing compares to the storm brewing between Amy and Tammy Wright. Now the Slaton sisters have lived their lives in front of the cameras, their struggles with health and weight turned into entertainment, their victories celebrated by millions, and their pain dissected in public forums. From the very first episodes, fans fell in love with their unique bond. Amy, often steady, pragmatic, trying to balance responsibility and motherhood with her own battles, while Tammy wore her fiery heart on her sleeve, vulnerable yet defiant, emotional yet strong in her own way. Together, they felt unbreakable, the kind of sisterhood that no diet, no fight, no setback could shatter. But behind that image, tensions were building like pressure in a boiling kettle, and when the lid finally blew off, it wasn't just steam that came out, it was fire. What makes this feud so explosive isn't just that it involves money or property, it's the symbolism of it. Tammy's Kentucky property wasn't just bricks and wood, it wasn't just a number on a deed, it was her safe place, her investment, her future, a space she believed was hers, earned through her sacrifices, a stake in stability after a lifetime of struggle. And when she allegedly discovered that Amy had moved the property into her own name without consent, it was like having the ground ripped out from under her. Betrayal hurts, but betrayal from family cuts deeper than anything else. Fans immediately sensed this wasn't just about real estate, this was about trust. And trust, once broken, is harder to rebuild than any home. Sources close to the family claim Tammy's discovery happened almost by accident. Looking over property records for personal reasons, she suddenly noticed her name missing from a deed she thought she still owned. In its place was Amy's name. Imagine the shock. Imagine scrolling through documents, maybe already stressed, maybe already tired, and realizing the one person you trusted most had allegedly cut you out. The heartbreak was instant, but what followed was fury. Tammy, according to insiders, was devastated, hurt in a way fans say they've rarely seen her before. To her, this wasn't paperwork. This was a violation of history, memory, and family. Of course, Amy's side of the story remains shrouded in ambiguity. While she hasn't publicly commented in detail, whispers from insiders suggest she believed she was acting as a protector. With Tammy cycling through rehab, health scares, and personal battles, Amy may have thought, or at least claimed to others, that she was safeguarding the property. But fans aren't convinced. Because what does safeguarding mean if the person you're protecting doesn't even know about it? What does love mean if it comes wrapped in secrecy? And then comes the hammer blow. Tammy filing a lawsuit against her own sister. Not just a family spat aired in private, not just harsh words behind closed doors, but a legal filing demanding the return of the property and damages for emotional and financial harm. Legal documents reportedly claim fraud, conversion, and emotional distress. $500,000 is the estimated value at stake. But truthfully, the money isn't what fuels the fire. The wound is emotional. $500,000 can be replaced. A sister's trust, that may be gone forever. The fan community erupted. On Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, debates ignited instantly. Some shouted that Amy's intentions were good, that she was trying to protect her sister from bad decisions or outside influences. Others argued there's no way to spin this as anything other than betrayal. If your sister takes your house without telling you, that's not love, that's theft, one fan posted, garnering thousands of likes. And this clash of opinions mirrors the clash between the sisters themselves. What makes this saga especially haunting is how it exposes the darker side of reality TV. We cheer when families on-screen hug and make up, we cry when they fight, and we binge-watch their ups and downs like it's entertainment. But this is not scripted. This is not edited for dramatic effect. This is raw life, messy, painful, and laid bare in front of millions. And the question that keeps circling in fans' minds is, did fame make this worse? Did the cameras amplify tiny cracks until they became Did the money, the spotlight, and the endless scrutiny push Amy and Tammy toward a breaking point they might have avoided otherwise. The legal complexities are staggering. Lawyers analyzing the case point out that transferring property without consent can amount to fraud. If Tammy's mental or physical condition at the time of the transfer left her vulnerable, it could even edge toward elder abuse in legal terms. That's not just family betrayal, that's criminal territory. The courtroom is unlikely to be kind if evidence suggests deceit. And let's not forget, every text, every email, every whispered conversation between the sisters may now become public record. Dissected by lawyers, reporters, and fans alike. Imagine the humiliation of having private arguments turned into exhibits. Imagine the pain of hearing a judge and jury analyze the love or lack thereof between you and your sister. Friends and relatives reportedly feel caught in the middle. Some are said to be desperately trying to broker peace, while others have already taken sides. And fans, they're watching like hawks, analyzing old episodes for clues. A clip of Tammy angrily confronting Amy about money months ago is being replayed with captions like, "The warning signs were right there." A throwaway joke about property, once dismissed as humor, is now being picked apart as foreshadowing. It's as if fans are rewriting the entire history of the sisters through the lens of betrayal. But this isn't just about what happened. This is about what comes next. If Tammy wins her lawsuit, it sets a precedent not just for the sisters, but for reality TV families everywhere. If Amy successfully defends her actions, it could give legal cover for others in high-profile situations to control assets in the name of protection. And hovering over it all is TLC, the network that turned the sisters into stars. Did producers know about the dispute? Did they look the other way, knowing drama makes for good ratings? Or did they truly stay out of it, letting the family implode without interference? These unanswered questions are the gasoline on the fire, fueling speculation and conspiracy. For now, what we know is that the lawsuit has ignited a media storm. Tabloids, gossip sites, and mainstream outlets alike are devoting headlines to the feud. Social media is a battlefield where #Team Tammy and #Team Amy clash in memes, videos, and long threads of passionate defense. Every day, new details leak out. Every day, the story grows bigger, messier, more impossible to look away from, and through it all, the emotional fallout between two sisters who once seemed inseparable grows colder, sharper, harder to mend. Because here's the truth. Property can be returned, money can be repaid, legal cases can be closed. But once a sister believes her blood betrayed her, that scar never truly heals. If you thought the first wave of revelations was shocking, what comes next pushes the story into uncharted territory. Because when family wounds go public, when lawsuits are filed, and when millions of fans become the jury of your private life, the fallout is no longer just personal, it's cultural. And Amy and Tammy's legal battle is no longer just about a deed in Kentucky. It's about loyalty, betrayal, and how far two sisters can be pushed before the bond that made them famous shatters forever. Tammy's legal filing wasn't timid. Sources close to the courthouse claim the lawsuit doesn't only demand the return of the property, it seeks damages for emotional distress and financial loss. That means Tammy isn't simply fighting to reclaim a house. She's fighting to prove, legally and publicly, that her trust was broken, that her sister crossed a line that can't be blurred away with apologies. And in the eyes of fans, that makes this feud less about real estate and more about justice. Court insiders whisper that the value of the property sits near $500,000. $500,000. For most people, that's life-changing money. For the Slaton sisters, it's not just wealth, it's legacy. And when legacy is up for grabs, every word, every piece of evidence, every look exchanged in the courtroom matters. Lawyers predict this won't be a quick case. Months, maybe years, of evidence, negotiations, and possibly a trial that could turn the sisters' private pain into public theater. Imagine the courtroom scene. Amy sitting on one side, Tammy on the other, lawyers clashing in sharp words while cameras wait outside for the slightest glimpse. Inside, decades of sisterhood distilled into arguments over signatures, intent, and ownership. The irony isn't lost on anyone. Two sisters who once shared hospital rooms, cried on camera together, and held each other up through surgeries and heartbreaks, now reduced to adversaries. In a cold legal battle, and outside the courthouse, the fans are louder than ever. Every update triggers a storm of reactions. Supporters of Tammy post messages like, "She deserves justice. No one should take advantage of her vulnerability." Others side with Amy, writing, "She probably saved Tammy from losing everything. This isn't betrayal, it's protection." The battle lines are drawn not only in the legal system, but in the digital arena where opinions can be more brutal than any lawyer's cross-examination. Meanwhile, speculation swirls about TLC's role. Did producers see cracks forming long ago? Did cameras catch hints of the property dispute before it exploded? Fans replay past episodes, searching for subtle nods and awkward silence. A quick change of subject, a glare that suddenly seems like foreshadowing. Conspiracy theories bubble up. Maybe TLC encouraged the feud. Maybe they filmed everything but are holding back for a dramatic reveal in a future season. Whether or not any of this is true, the perception alone intensifies the drama, blurring the line between reality TV and reality itself. Legal experts warn this case is far from simple. Proving intent in a property transfer is notoriously difficult. Was Amy's move a cold, calculated betrayal, or was it a misguided attempt to protect her sister's future? That distinction matters. If evidence shows Amy genuinely believed she was acting out of care, courts might weigh that against the lack of consent. But if proof emerges that she knew Tammy would object and did it anyway, the fallout could be devastating. Fraud, conversion, even punitive damages could all be on the table. And once evidence becomes public, the sisters' reputations may suffer blows no PR team can fully repair. The emotional toll is already heavy. Insiders close to Tammy describe her as shattered, hurt not just by the loss of property, but by the feeling that her sister saw her as incapable of making decisions for herself. That kind of wound isn't healed by returning a deed. It lingers in the heart, a constant reminder that the person you trusted most doubted your ability to stand on your own. Amy, on the other hand, is said to be stressed, defensive, and exhausted, caught between maintaining her image as the responsible sister and facing accusations that could paint her as manipulative. Friends whisper that conversations with her are filled with frustration, fear, and the looming shadow of legal consequences. And then there's the wider family. Relatives who once celebrated holidays together are now reportedly divided. Some siding with Tammy, others supporting Amy. Family events feel like battlegrounds. Every word weighed, every opinion judged. For those who loved both sisters, choosing sides feels impossible, but staying neutral feels even harder. Fans, of course, have turned the feud into cultural currency. TikTok edits show Tammy crying in past episodes, spliced with headlines about the lawsuit. Set to dramatic music. Memes paint Amy as the villain's sister while others depict her as the protector. Reddit threads dissect every line of leaked court documents. Some posts running thousands of comments deep, and on Twitter, hashtags trend with each new update. Hashtag Justice for Tammy. Hashtag Stand with Amy. Hashtag Slaton Drama. For every fan genuinely worried about the sisters' well-being, there's another turning the saga into entertainment, and that duality reflects the very nature of reality TV itself. But beyond the noise, the deeper question lingers. Can they ever reconcile? History shows that even the deepest family rifts sometimes heal. But in this case, reconciliation may demand sacrifices neither sister is willing to make. A quiet settlement with confidentiality agreements could end the legal battle, but would it heal the emotional wound? A courtroom victory could deliver justice to one and humiliation to the other, but at the cost of permanently severing their bond. And there's the career factor. Amy and Tammy's entire public image rests on their shared story. They're not just individuals, they're a duo, a brand. What happens to that brand if the public sees them not as sisters supporting each other, but as enemies locked in battle? Sponsorships, contracts, future seasons, all of it could hang in the balance. TLC has thrived on their ups and downs, but if viewers begin to feel the pain is too real, too damaging, will they keep watching? Or will the network pivot, focusing on one sister over the other, capitalizing on division instead of unity? Financially, the stakes are enormous. If Tammy regains the property and wins damages, it strengthens her independence and sends a warning shot to anyone tempted to overstep family boundaries. If Amy holds her ground and keeps the property, she might prove her resilience legally, but at what cost? Fans may never look at her the same way again. Either way, the sisters' financial futures are tied directly to the outcome, and both stand to lose as much emotionally as they could gain financially. And yet, through all the legal jargon, fan theories, and online debates, one haunting truth echoes louder than all. This is still a story about two sisters, two little girls who grew up together, laughed together, and dreamed of a better life. Two women who survived ridicule, judgment, and health crises side by side. And now, two adults standing on opposite sides of a courtroom, with the world watching, waiting to see if blood can survive betrayal. As proceedings unfold, fans remain glued to every update, desperate for answers. Will Tammy's lawsuit succeed? Will Amy fight back with her own legal claims? Will the family fracture permanently, or will time and reflection lead to reconciliation? These questions fuel the obsession, making this one of the most captivating and heartbreaking storylines reality TV has ever spawned. Because when betrayal comes from strangers, it's easy to move on. When it comes from your sister, it changes you forever. And that's why the world can't look away. The Slaton sisters' feud isn't just a property dispute, it's a story of loyalty tested, of family bonds torn apart, and of a sisterhood that may never recover. And until the gavel falls in court, until the cameras capture the final outcome, until the sisters themselves speak openly about what really happened, one thing is certain. This story is far from over, and every new chapter promises to be more shocking than the last.